Hey guys, so my flight got moved to another date. Pal just decided to transfer my flight to the next day for some reason, but ganun talaga eh. Don't cry over things that you can't control, but the only thing I can control is my attitude and my response to all of this. All I have to do is just try to make the most out of it. It means that I have an extra day here in Qatar to give you more videos about what's happening in the markets. Guys, so Jollibee's back at the 250 levels again. So for those who followed the previous videos that we've created about Jollibee, it has a support at around 250. However, here's the thing, the bearishness though of the market is still now pushing Jollibee lower. So what does this have to do? How does this go? How does this play in the grand scheme of things? Two things can possibly happen. People see 250 as a relatively cheaper area for Jollibee already, and the stock bounces and it gets protected. However, if 250 does not hold, Jollibee may drop further to around the 238 level. So with that, my suggestion to all of you is this: watch out first at the opening, or watch out this Monday how Jollibee will progress. If it bounces from 250, it somehow has a shot again to go back to around the 275 level, because you have the 275 level as its new resistance level. But if that does not hold, Jollibee will just retrace further and it will continue to go down to around 238 levels as well. 238, 240 levels, which we can peg as a support level. But as of this point in time, a lot of the parameters, a lot of the indicators for Jollibee are pointing to a more bearish sentiment. Let's put fundamentals and technicals as part of it. Jollibee is still a good company. There's no doubt about its growth. There's no doubt about its prospects of what it could be in the future. However, the problem that we are seeing now is this: Jollibee is still expensive. Please mind you, in spite of the drop, in spite of it retracing downward, it's still a relatively expensive company, using valuation models, using even PE ratios, showing it that Jollibee is still at a premium as of this point in time. So why am I saying this? Jollibee may have dropped from 300 to where it is right now, but valuation models are saying it's still expensive, and technicals is saying that it's how do I put this, still bearish as well. So one thing to watch out for is the 250 levels. Bounce from that, there's a shot that it gets protected, but if it fails to hold that level, we may see Jollibee slide down even lower as well. So similar to the previous videos that I've made and created, no, our goal is not to come in when the market is dropping, but our goal is just to find areas when it has started to bounce and go up again. So your goal again is to protect your capital. Your goal again is just to stay in the sidelines should the breakdown start to progress even further. So Ayala Land suffered another beating again. It's down to below 37 levels once again. For those who've been following our previous sessions, I've noted that there's a support range now, a short-term support range at around 36.3, which over the past few candlesticks, as Jollibee to us, as Ayala Land tried to drop that to those levels, a significant amount of buying started to happen. So let's see, as it might retrace again and attack those 36.3 levels. Please take note of this. If it bounces off of that, that becomes a short-term buy signal again. Then it could bounce to the next resistance. So bounce from 36.3, it denotes a buy signal for the short term. Please remember this. Ayala Land is still pretty much bearish. For those who are position traders, stay away from the stock first. For those who are position traders, we don't have a signal yet telling us that Ayala Land is reversing already. The fact that it got sold down over the past few days denotes that the selling is still pretty much there, that the market is still pretty much bearish. So if it goes to 36.3 and 36.3 does not hold, it will further accelerate the downtrend that we have. It will further push the stock to go relatively lower as well. The same thing is happening with Bloom. Please watch how Bloom is forming and how it's moving. It looks pretty much the same as how Ayala Land is. failure to break the resistance, and now it's starting to inch lower, which is also similar to what's happening with the PSEI. Failure to hit the resistance, the short-term resistance, and now you are seeing it inch again lower as well. So let's talk about now Telecoms. Now Telecoms had a large movement last Friday, which from a candlestick perspective showed us a very, very large and bullish candle as well, which allowed it also to move past two weaker moving averages to short-term moving average, which, by the way, over the past few days and weeks, now has been flat, now has been sideways, which is a normal characteristic of stocks that have moved up quite a bit. You have to understand this. Weeks and months ago, now moved up large quantities, meaning there will be some investors that came in early that are taking profits, but there are also some that thus denoting the consolidation pattern that we're seeing and the volatility, that there are some people who are also taking advantage and coming in every time it would dip at such a lower level. Please take note of this as well. The movement that we're seeing with now is basically based on what it could possibly still be should it become the third player. As you all know, that fundamentally speaking, it's already relatively expensive from a fundamental standpoint, and the only thing that will push it is the possibility, the narrative that it could be the next third player here, the Philippines. So why am I saying this, and what's the whole context of this post? Intraday now hit and started to break out, but it also hit another moving average. That's why, as you saw it intraday, its high was actually hit by that moving average. That's why it started to retrace down. Either way, the stock closed at a very, very large bullish candle, which is good for people who are following the narrative. Now, here's the thing: if to have a relatively consistent and stronger and more convincing breakout, we wanted to break past the 10 peso level. Breaking past the 10 peso level with large volume will somehow give us a notion that bulls are back in control again for the midterm. Please take note of this. For the long term, bulls are still in control. The strong moving average that is protecting now is still pretty much intact. So that controls the narrative in terms of who is pretty much in control. But over the midterm, it started to move flat. So here's the thing. I wanted to break out from 10. If it breaks out from 10, you can see a possible shift upward for the short and mid-term movement of now. If it fails to do that, we might see it still consolidate. So why am I saying this? For those who bought at the breakout, for those who bought at the bounce, if it fails to break out of 10, it could be an area for you also to take profits if it fails to break out of it. But if it breaks out from it and it continues to go higher, hold your positions. If it continues to go up, we might see it challenge again the next resistances at those levels as well. So please remember, this now is something that is good for trading. So if you are trading into it, you have to respect the technicals, you have to respect the charts, that you sell when the take profit signal comes in, you sell when there's reversal signals, you sell when the charts dictate that you have to get away from the position as well. So that's it. I'm still here in Qatar. I was extended for another day, but ganun talaga eh. It's at least nice to be able to explore the city right now. No, it's still hot here. It's still in the middle of their summer, but ganun talaga eh. For the vlog, I'm doing these videos for you guys as well. So we've talked about Ayala Land, we've talked about Now, we've talked about Bloom, we've talked about the index, and also Jollibee as well. But I'll try to do I'll try to do more videos. So I hope this video gives you a reference point on how you make your trades. Please remember this, by the way. Do not use this video just as something that you would take as is. I hope and I pray that you study whatever we talk about here. That it's something that will serve as a reference point for you also, so you're able to make wise and safe decisions with your investments. So here's the general context in the market as of this point in time. We are still bearish. That upward movement that we saw the past few days, no, it wasn't really enough to cause the market to start to break out. Please remember this. We still have a lot of selling that foreign selling that occurred over the past few weeks, which, in my opinion, no, we really need a good set of foreign buying, a string of foreign buying to make the markets go higher. So please remember this. It's not just about us having bad inflation, meaning inflation is higher. It's not just also about the economy relatively not as fast as what everyone is expecting it to be. It's also not just because construction hasn't really picked up as much as we want it to be, as much as what was expected, but there's also a looming trade war. So it's not just what's happening in the Philippines that's causing investors to shy away, but it's also there's something happening in global markets that are causing foreign funds, large cap investors to take a more risk off approach and try to stay in the sidelines, or at least transfer it into you have to understand this. Even in the Philippine setting, you now saw the BSP increase rates by 0.5% already over a course of a few months. So meaning there will be more earnings for people in fixed income assets as well. So there will be a shift from stocks to bonds, and if this continues, you may see more people put in more money in fixed income assets as well. So why am I saying this? Please take note, no, as we are still, as the market hasn't reversed yet, as we haven't had an inkling yet that the breakdown is over, the downtrend is over. Expect it to challenge the lowest point, and I still believe, no, if we dip below 7,000 again, it can still attack the 6,800 level, which is where PE ratio wise we are cheaper, which is where also we have a very, very strong support there. So as always, as what I've promised, I'll keep you updated on what's happening in the market, so that you have a breast also, and you get to I guess be part of my journey as well in the stock market. And I hope you guys make your own stories as well. You guys make your own narratives as well, because that's the goal, the heart, the intent of all of this is we just really want to see more and more and more Filipinos be financially free. So that's it for now. This is Marvin Gurmo from Doha, Qatar. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon. Hi. It's, I think, almost 11 p.m. But what's nice about, I don't know, I've been to Qatar several times, but this is the first time that I've been, I guess, exploring the city by myself, walking at 11 p.m. just by myself. And needless to say, it's a really relatively safer city as compared to the other cities that I've been in. So it removes, I guess, the shroud of doubt that even though it's a bit hot, you still get to walk out at night also. By the way, guys, it's at the midst of summer still here. It's around 37 degrees in the evening, but in the morning it hits 42, 43, 44 degrees, and it's hot, but it's not as humid as other Southeast Asian countries where you would sweat even if it's not as hot. But here, it's a bit humid, but it's still tolerable. You can still walk, even though if it's a bit hot. And they've created a lot of good walkable pavements, no? And that's what I like about cities that develop create a great master plan for their city, that wherever you are, even if you're a tourist, you'd have a chance to roam around the city because because there's a lot of walkable pavements. And I think that's what we need in Manila. Not just subway systems, not just railway systems, not just more skyways, but more opportunities where people can walk, but not just walk, but also walk safely without any fear that mababangga sila. But not just that, it should be well lit as well, that even though they're walking at 11, 12 midnight in a city that they don't know, it's well lit so that they can actually walk also and feel safe. You have to understand, for more tourists to come in Manila, we need stuff like this. Sidewalks as big as this, that's well lit, that even though if you're the only one walking by yourself almost midnight, you still feel safe, you'd still feel relatively secure. So I hope that whoever sees this, if you become you have opportunity to create infrastructure in the country, or you'll be a decision maker, please make roads like this so that things will be better for commuters, tourists, and the country as a whole. So there, not connected to stocks, but I think something that is worth sharing in this beautiful city of Doha, Qatar. It's interesting, guys. Every time I bump across Filipinos here in Qatar, but it's not just limited to Qatar, but I guess to other countries as well. When some Filipinos see me, they would always ask, where am I working? Saan ako nagkatrabaho dito? Saan ako nakatira dito? It's always an assumption that if a Filipino is abroad, he's working there, or he or she is working there. But I don't know eh. I think so there has to be also a paradigm shift that Filipinos itself, it's sad enough that foreigners just see us as workers, but it's also sad enough that their own countrymen, Filipinos, would just look at Filipinos as nagtatrabaho, empleyado lang. But I really hope that over the next few years this changes, that it doesn't mean that the Filipino is abroad, he's out there to work, that he's out there to be an OFW, that Filipinos can travel, that Filipinos can also enjoy stuff, enjoy the world, not just because he's a foreign worker, but because he just really wants to travel, just really wants to go out. So I don't know, that's why I'm just gonna push even harder. I'm gonna do what I can to be able to just help more and more Filipinos be financially free, because I really believe that one of the root causes of this is we really weren't exposed to a life of, unlike in other countries. Now if you see Europeans, Australians, it's part of what they do. They would skip school for a year or so and travel the world. Sa atin, it's not, we weren't trained that way. It's not our context. Our context is always that aral ka and then trabaho ka na after. But I really do hope that in the next 20-30 years we'll see more people be financially free, that it's going abroad, traveling, it's not just about working, but it's also about that they choose to, they just really want to travel, they just really want to enjoy as well. So I don't know if this helps people. This is not really connected to stocks anymore, but I just hope that it inspires you, it pushes you also to live your life large, to live your life hungry for more, that you be hungry, that you be passionate about what you do, that you don't settle for mediocrity, that you push yourself, that you push the limit, that you push that you push what you can do. Because I believe Filipinos can do a lot. Filipinos have the ability also to be wealthy, to be prosperous. And if, I don't know, there's just one thing about this video series that I hope it helps uplift the way Filipinos see each other. That we're not nothing. We're not just foreign workers, but we're people who can add value to this world. We're people who can be a voice. We're people who can be we will be one of the largest movers and shakers in society as well. And I don't know, I just hope that Filipinos see that. I don't know if it will happen in my generation, or if it will happen in the next set of Filipinos, the next generation of Filipinos, but I hope it gets done. I hope that we see a day that financial freedom could actually be seen in Filipinos, that they don't rely on just the context of the government, but they grab a hold of their future, that they make it on their own as well. So there, guys. Whoa, I'm crossing the street and the cars are just really fast. So that's it. This is my last night here in Qatar, flying back to Manila tomorrow. Then after that, it will be a series of flights and also talks in Baguio, Cebu, Davao, which are not for corporate clients, but next one will be in Iloilo. So see you soon, guys.